Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So Eternity of Pain Bishop is here, the long dreaded bishop that everybody was afraid of. Well, it turns out that the idea of Eternity of Pain Bishop is quite a bit scarier than Eternity of Pain Bishop itself. Now that it finally did arrive, it actually wasn't that bad. Everybody was kind of freaking out about Bishop, but the fight was actually fairly doable and quite fun. So we do have three objectives, as always: defensive tank, and X-Man, and science. This time around, there is not a single champion that fulfills all the criteria at the same time, and also for Thronebreaker players, there's only Emma Frost that is X-Man defensive tank, and I did try her out, and I don't really think it's the best idea to try and get this fight down with Emma Frost in one go. I personally recommend just going in twice with better and more suitable counters. Right, so let's break down the nodes first. So energy actuator basically takes away all your combat power rate, and then whenever you're close to Bishop, you gain power, and whenever you're far away from Bishop, you are power locked and power drained. So it completely changes the way the power is gained in this entire fight. And this node would actually enable quite a lot of stun cheese loops. However, for that we have Hurt Locker, which limits from throwing the same special attack twice in a row. Unless you are able to land a heavy attack within 5 seconds, you can take huge burst damage. So that is something to keep in mind. Now we have Meltdown Node, and that is most effectively described as a game of hot potato. There's a timer. If the timer is on you, when it expires, then you take a bunch of damage. If it's an opponent, then opponent takes a bunch of damage every time you toss the potato from one to another. 5 seconds get removed from that timer. Now, the other nodes are fairly straightforward. Shock Tether. Shock is there not to punish you. It's kind of like a forced activity node where you can tap opponent in the block in order to reset that 6-second timer. But if for 6 seconds, champions have not made any contact, both of them are inflicted with a shock debuff. Now, that shock debuff actually does hardly any damage, and that's not the point. That shock debuff is right there to be placed on Bishop, and then you take a ton of damage from Bishop going in his overload mode or whatever it is called. And then we have Stunning Immunity, which is actually a fairly mild node, which basically just states that whenever you use your immunity, typically that would be Incinerate Immunity. If you use Incinerate Immune Champion in this fight, Bishop goes stun immune for 8 seconds. In order to avoid that, again, either just wait out the timer, kind of, or push Bishop level 2s, and then you're not really going to get incinerated. Still something to keep in mind, but not the worst node in itself. Right, so a couple of solos first that I recorded for this video, special for this video, not from the stream. I do have a few more on the stream as well. But the champion that I did think it's the easiest and most straightforward to get this solo in. And these aren't perfect attempts. Quite literally, both of them are like my first attempts off screen that I did record. So you can see me mess up a tiny bit here as well. But it's, as far as I'm concerned, the safest with Hulkbuster thanks to his power control. And the rotation that I'm using is to basically very simply alter in between his level 1 and level 2. And by doing so, I can make sure that Bishop never throws a single special attack. It's quite as simple. So you drop your level 2, then you drop your level 1, drop your level 2 in a block. Now there I tried to re-parry, but I failed. I have been having quite a lot of trouble parrying recently. And again, we're going to go for a level 2 in Bishop's block suite. I could go for a heavy spam if I want to, but for whatever reason, Hulkbuster loses power when the node thinks that Hulkbuster is not close to Bishop, so it's kind of annoying. So I just decided to forego that entire heavy spam thing and alter from level 2 to level 1. Now here I played a bit risky, but it worked out. But for the most part, you can easily get to your level 2 before Bishop is pushed to his level 3. And then, if you are more experienced Hulkbuster players, you're going to know that trick where you can slow down your combo, and then after 4th hit, you throw your special attack with a tiny bit of delay, and opponents pretty much always put up their block. So here I bait out that. Again, I have pushed him to level 3, but he puts up his block. Sweet, we power drain him. He's at 12%. It's super easy, super quick fight. Most of the damage there was either from recoil or that one little mistake that I made. Here he is at 5%, 3%, and here we can see it's done. So there's nothing to this fight using Hulkbuster at all. Very easy attempt. Under 2 minutes, 114 hits. Now, the fastest solo that I did have was with iHulk, and iHulk can just completely nuke this guy. If you get slightly lucky, it will take a couple of tries. And now we have Kitty as well. I will make a couple of mistakes in this fight with Kitty also. I'm not the best Kitty player. It was actually quite funny on the stream where on my second attempt I got him down to 1%, and then it took me another whole bunch of attempts till I kind of got into the rhythm, and I was just making silly mistakes. But the point is, initially you want to get to at least 3 prowess by the time you push Bishop to level 1. Bait out a level 1 or a couple of level 1s at first in order just to get your prowess temperature up. You really do not want to throw your level 1 or level 3 in these fights, because then you place Incinerate on Bishop and it hurts. Now here I got extremely unlucky with the timer where it detonated just as I was phasing through. And here we can see that I also dashed too quickly and didn't manage to kind of start my combo at time. But it's okay, we're still alive. We're losing the HP battle, but it's fine with Kitty because we're going to be healing throughout the fight. Now he throws his level 1 again, which I didn't necessarily want to, but I don't mind too much either. And we're just getting our prowess potency increased. And we're using that phase to kind of completely safely phase through Bishop's special attacks. Now here I am at 21 prowess, I'm in my phase, and I drop a nice, decently sized level 2 there. Now I just want to push him again to a level 2, but I don't know why my dash didn't register there. I definitely didn't just stand around to be hit by Bishop's special attack. It's all good though. He is at his level 2, I have enough prowess. And here, the end of this fight, I kind of butcher. I should have just gone for another level 2, and that would have been it for this fight. But I decided to kind of, I don't know, my brain just didn't function properly, and I kind of stretched out the fight much longer than I should have. I'm at 27% here, Bishop is at 12%, sweet. I'm going to be trying to phase through that Meltdown timer again, so we absorb the damage thanks to the phase. And I could have went for level 3 before already, to be honest, but we're going to do that now. So in a second, 10 prowess, he's at 1%, we're going to be finishing like a boss. Either way, I definitely could have finished this fight quicker, and obviously not get hit in the face slightly, but still a fairly confident, comfortable solo there. 2 minutes, you can, as I said, do it even quicker than that. Right, so let's go and break down our best options. Right, so for defensive, so we have 3 objectives: defensive tank, X-Man, and science, only for Paragon players. Now, as I said, for Thronebreakers, I recommend just doing both of them separate. Do 1 X-Man and do 1 defensive tank one. For Paragon, I personally recommend doing defensive tank plus science together, and then the X-Man one separate. But whichever way you want to do it, obviously works. Some of the best options listed over here as defensive tank plus science, iHulk. You can play it safely, or you can just try a bunch of times for a good RNG and a nuke attempt with iHulk. Even if you're not the best iHulk player, you will comfortably be able to get down like 50-something% per go. So revive there if you can't be bothered to get good RNG. Now, solos can definitely also be done with Overseer, I-Bomb, and Thing. Takes kind of a really long time with Thing, but it's quite safe. With I-Bomb and Overseer, you need to be much better dexing those level 2s. Now, defensive tanks by themselves, and I think by far the easiest option is Hulkbuster. Hyperion, again, it's a bit of an RNG fiesta, but you can get in the solo quite quickly. I think Hulkling ought to be working extremely well, and APOC does just a fine job too. When it comes to X-Men champions, as I demonstrated, Kitty Pryde, quite easy solo. Archangel, you have to be playing really well in order to get the solo with Archangel, but a revive or 2, and you're going to have some of the easiest time ever. Yeah, if I wouldn't be doing YouTube, I'd just probably bring in Archangel and throw a revive or 2 or add the problem. Colossus, obviously his Incinerate immunity does extremely well here also. Then we have Magic, who can just basically cheese the entire thing as well if you do have 1 ranked. Then Gambit can spend most of the time stunning the guy and then dropping some nice level 2s. Rogue can do extremely well. And when it comes to science, we have Miles Morales, who solves the problem of you needing to be able to dex that level 2. just remember that you do not want to use your level 2 on bishop, because that is going to hurt. Now Spider-Gwen is almost perfect counter for this, because you can spam your level 1s, level 2s, alternate in between that, and meanwhile be super hyper aggressive, because you can enervate bishop. That means you're gonna have to bait significantly less special attacks, and then on top of all of that, obviously whenever a special attack is unblockable, she will have super high chance to evade it if she's ramped up. Then we have Anti-Venom and Void, both of whom should be doing quite well. I'll fully admit that I have not tested them out 100%, but I do think they ought to work quite well, because they are incinerate immune as well, and especially in case of Void, you have that passive damage over time effect. And here we are. So those are the champions. I'm sure there are other great options that I would be very eager to see how they work out. I think Spider-Ham could be quite decent. Perhaps Wasp, I think, could be very interesting. And some other champs. But these are just the ones that kind of came to me on top of my mind. Right. So that will be about it. Let me know what you guys think about this bishop fight. How did you guys cope with it? And which champions did you use? And I hope if you are just about to tackle this bishop, then I hope my video helped you guys. See you next time. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about